Admiral, former president of the Berkeley County Commission back when it was called a council, Mr. Bill Stubblefield.
Good morning,
Bill.
Rob. It is great to be here. What a lovely day. It is a lovely day. You don't have to grin. You're grinning
questioning your assessment of the quality of the day.
You've been in this dark cubicle for so long you don't even know if it's the sun shining or not.
Well, that part is true.
It's up to us to come in and tell you what the weather's like, and we're doing that. It's a lovely day, Rob.
Well, let's say good.
Do we have guests?
Let's say good morning to our other co-host, if that's okay, Bill. Unless you had something else.
Actually, I do, Rob.
Go right ahead. Don't let me stop you. I can if I want to anyway. Mike Allers Jr. Good morning, Michael. Former school teacher.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's an okay day. I mean, I don't know if
It's not as good as Bill.
I feel like Bill's really lobbying for today, but
trying to get something going on.
It's all right.
Yeah. Mike came
You guys,
prepared.
the glass either half full or half empty. I know how you folks feel.
Mr. Allers came prepared here. He's got 2 full cups of something.
You have to. You gotta stay hydrated. Iced coffee, water.
And one's full, one's empty.
Exactly.
Wait a second. So you got water and coffee.
Yeah.
Aren't you negating? Because the coffee's a diuretic, and then water.
I don't know.
So you're putting water in so you can flush it out with the coffee.
Yeah. I mean, it works. It works for me.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know why I walk out of the studio in the morning confused.
See? Yeah. Also, Mike has gotten the Stubblefield treatment in the first 20 minutes of the pregame show here.
We had a nice discussion.
Wait a second, Mike. You're wrong. You're wrong, Mike.
No, that's not right.
Cherry picking facts.
It was to trust the legislative process and to have more faith in democracy than I currently do.
Let's say good morning to our first guest. He is the president of the Jefferson County Commission, Pasha Majdi. Good morning, Pasha. Great to have you.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
You notice he showed great leadership this morning. He's not been involved in this mud throwing that we've trying to what's my word? Fight
I don't know.
I don't either.
We beat Medicare.
What mud throwing? You were the only one who was throwing mud this morning.
Jockeying for position. That's what I was going to say.
What you were doing?
Jockeying for position. That's right.
All right, very good. Pasha, so quick question for you out of the gate here is regards to the old buildings that used to have county government in. Now, are you fully moved into the new buildings?
Oh, no. It's going to be a while. End of 26.
Oh, so you're still in the old buildings?
Yes,
okay.
And we will be for quite a while. We have a lot of different county buildings all across Jefferson County that we're moving out of. That's why we're going to save so much money with this move. Some of them are on Washington Street in downtown Charleston, but it's really all over the county. We're going to consolidate into 2 new buildings in Charlestown. The buildings that are currently in downtown Charlestown on Washington Street still occupied.
All right, so you're not doing anything in the old APIS buildings yet?
Very little. We're basically holding meetings there and setting up. Like last night, we had a planning commission meeting and the mics didn't work. I mean, we're not up to full speed yet.
All right, but you have had Jefferson County Commission meetings in the new buildings?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought I'd heard the last time.
Right.
And that's why I thought you folks were starting to fully move in there, but you're not close.
Not close. Not close. No, public meetings, we try to do as much as possible in the new building because it's so much larger, so we can accommodate people.
Okay. So we had the mayor of Charlestown on about a week or 2 ago, and the discussion came up about what we're doing with the old buildings. Settle the confusion that I have in my head here right now, because the mayor has feelings about the old buildings and who belongs to the old buildings and whose responsibility it is for the old buildings. While he was talking about that, somebody else on our site chimed in and said, well, then maybe you shouldn't be restricting who can buy the old buildings if you don't want anything to do with them. What is going on between you and the mayor's office in regards to those buildings, and whose responsibility are those buildings?
Okay, so I'm going to smile, but this is not a politician smile. This is a sincere smile.
Right.
I have a great relationship with Mayor George.
And he mentioned the same with you folks?
Yeah, it's been 100% cordial. It's terrific. It's completely collaborative. There are other forces in Charlestown who like to be combative, and they're muddying the waters. So that's what's happened. There's a lot of confusion going on because they're throwing some bombs and saying the county's making a terrible decision and they're ruining downtown Charleston. If anybody wants economic development in downtown Charleston, the best thing you can do is convert government buildings to the private sector with an eye on historic preservation. That's what we're trying to do. We're certainly going to do that with the historic courthouse, historic preservation. That's what we're going to do with the courthouse. We're working with Jefferson County Museum on that, and we'll have hopefully some really good news to announce in the next few months. The remaining buildings, we want to convert that to the private sector. What's very confusing is that state law in West Virginia bifurcates counties from municipalities. Counties cannot sell directly to the private sector. Municipalities can. Why? I don't really know. If I had to guess, in 1936, somebody did something corrupt. They passed a state law to prevent that from happening again. And counties can no longer sell directly to the private sector. So there are some folks in Charlestown who are saying, hey, let's pick out the right businesses for downtown Charlestown. Seems like a really good idea. It makes sense to me. County can't do that. We can only sell to the private sector via a public auction. Now, we can sell to government. That is allowed under state law. So we're certainly going to look for government buyers or quasi-governmental institutions that are nonprofits that act at the behest of government. Those qualify as well, and that's in a gray area. But it's a quirk in state law that's leading to a lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. I can tell you the overall goal for the county commission is economic development for downtown Charlestown, and we have made it very clear that if the city of Charlestown wants to buy the buildings and pick out their favorite buyers in the private sector, they're more than welcome to do that. They're first in line. We'll even cut them a deal if we can. Not a huge deal because it's going to cost taxpayers a little bit, but a discount. And if that's something they're interested in, we'd like to have those conversations. We've sent them a letter saying, if you're interested, please let us know. If they're not interested, if they have other priorities, my suggestion is just tell everybody, hey, we have other priorities. The county has a capital improvement plan. We have a list of things we want to buy down the line. The city does as well. I know that they're investing in a pool. I think that's a terrific thing for the city of Charlestown. We are investing in a court system. We need to build out a new court system, and we think it's incredibly important that we have court security there. Our estimates are this is going to cost $11.5 million. It's very expensive.
To upgrade the APIS buildings.
That's right. One is they're both office buildings. When you convert one office building to another office use, it's not that expensive to upgrade it. When you convert an office building to a court, now you have to make security upgrades that are very expensive. So we're looking at $11.5 million there. If we can raise revenue by selling buildings on Charlestown to address that need, that's something that's very important to us.
Do you need to sell those buildings to address those needs?
We could take a huge loss on behalf of the taxpayers of Jefferson County. We don't want to do that. And we're making that clear. It needs to be the right deal for Jefferson County taxpayers because the people own those buildings.
And the connection with you wanting the city, is it correct to say that you want the city to buy those old buildings from you?
If they want to. But what makes it confusing is they're not saying that they want to buy the buildings. And the other thing that's confusing about it is who's the they. So Mayor George is not coming out and criticizing the county. In fact, as far as I understand it from what I read in the paper, he actually said in his campaign, we got to work with the county. Mm-hmm. Let's be good neighbors. And that's why we have such a great relationship. I feel the same way. We got to work with the city. We got to be good neighbors.
Did you hear his interview on the show? Did you hear it or see it?
I actually couldn't get it because it's on Facebook, but it's not on YouTube. And
that didn't get posted to YouTube?
It didn't. I didn't want to bring it up when you asked me. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, you can say that. Because that lets Colin know he needs to go and find it.
I tried. Knuckles, right? I tried. I really wanted to get it because I heard this came up and I wanted to watch it. But I have I'm ignoring Facebook. It gets muddy.
No, I understand. Believe me. Other than what we do here to stream it live, I don't touch it.
Yeah. But we'd love to have a collaborative relationship with Charleston. What's a little bit confusing is that there's folks who are not elected who are saying the city of Charlestown believes X, the county's doing a terrible job, and they need to stop selling these buildings through a public auction, and they need to sell it directly to certain buyers that we think that are best for Charlestown. Well, we can't do that.
You can't sell the buildings, period.
We can't sell it to specific buyers. We can only do it through a public auction.
Right.
Now, if they want to buy the buildings and pick out the perfect buyer, go ahead, please. Just buy a fair market value. Hell, you could even turn a profit on it. So if that's the plan, go for it. If the county's selling it, we can sell it through a public auction to the private sector, or we can find a government buyer. And there's institutions that are not maybe considered government, but that qualify, like an educational institution.
Mm-hmm.
If Shepherd University, for example, wanted to buy the entire, I don't know why they would, but I'm just picking a famous university nearby, an educational institution. If they wanted to buy the buildings, they could do that. That's allowed under the law. So my view is our role as a county government is to showcase the buildings, to make it as easy as possible to buy, and get the best return for taxpayers. A secondary goal is, can we help out Charlestown achieve their goals? That's secondary. The first thing is we got to make ends meet.
Bill?
Yeah, good morning, Pasha. How many buildings we're talking about throughout the county?
Oh, throughout the county? Oh, gosh. It's got to be up to a dozen. I mean, it's several. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that I realized that the county could not sell direct. You had to use a public auction. I did not realize the city is able to sell direct.
That's why it gets confusing, and that's why we're so interested in encouraging them to buy, because we have heard from institutions with Charlestown in the name of it that say, hey, we represent Charlestown and this is something we really want to happen. We had a community discussion on July 17th and we heard from, I think, 40 business owners in downtown Charlestown saying we'd really like to pick out the right buyers for downtown Charlestown. And we can't do that as a county. The city can. Look, I don't want to put them on the spot and blow them up. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. But I think it's our responsibility to make the offer and make the path as easy as possible if it's something they want to do.
Has there been interest in any of the county-owned buildings, either all of them or just individual ones?
Has there been interest?
Interest by a particular group, a particular potential buyer.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot more interest soon. And
Why is that?
We haven't announced our next agenda yet, but what I'd like to do is invite in the private sector to talk about financing and what the different financing options are, so people understand, hey, you don't have to just write a check for $4 million or whatever it is. Well, let's call it 10. Let's be optimistic, right? But there's financing options out there, and there's community banks that can help. And they have an interest in making sure our downtown and downtown Charlestown is viable and successful.
The mayor on the show, I'm going to paraphrase, and it's been a little bit since he's been on, basically said at one point you folks claimed that the buildings were old and needed repair, a lot of repair, more so than you thought it was fiscally responsible to put money into. And his thought on that was, then why would I want to buy those buildings and all of those problems, because someone's going to have to get these buildings back into shape to sell them, and can you recoup that money after you do? Are the buildings in that bad of condition?
It's definitely investable, and it's in a fantastic location.
Which building? We're talking about buildings throughout the county? You're talking about
Washington Street, downtown Charlestown. Okay. And we're comparing buildings that, in some cases are 100 years. Look, I live in a 100-year-old house. I love historic buildings. We're comparing buildings that are 100 years old versus a brand new, state-of-the-art, hyper-efficient building. And when we justified that expenditure, we demonstrated these are our annual cost savings in energy costs, in repair costs, et cetera. And the mayor is referring to that. Look, if they're not interested in buying buildings, that's fine. I certainly don't speak for them on that.
Has there been an official exchange of, hey, do you want to buy these? No, we don't. Do you want to buy these? Yes, we do. Has there been anything like that yet?
There's been an unofficial exchange. So at our July 7th community discussion, I asked the mayor, have you all thought about this? Would you be interested as a hypothetical? And I said, well, we haven't really discussed it yet. There's no expressed interest right now. So we're trying to formalize it. Because, we as a commission need to hear a formal no if they're really not interested. There are a couple council members who have made public statements saying, look, this is not something we want to do. But even 3 people is not a majority of the council. So even unofficially, it's only a few folks who have spoken up about it.
Mike Allers Jr.
So do you think that this kind of like state law quirk is the reason why, frustration gets targeted your way, because people kind of don't understand that, there is that kind of disconnect between county and city in this space?
Maybe. To be totally honest, I think it's driven by partisan politics.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks who are being very active and vocal against the commission are Democrats. The Republicans are on the county commission. And I think that drives a lot of it. Okay. Just being frank.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So the new buildings, I've seen it not only on Facebook but also You utilize LinkedIn, which
I do.
which I do see, which is a little cleaner of a place, right?
It is.
Who were the original owners of the buildings that you guys moved into? Was that through American Public University? Because it looks very similar to that structure.
It is. It is.
Okay.
They were owned by APUS, American Public University System. They are an online university, and when COVID hit, they realized that they had a fantastic opportunity for the expansion of their business to go fully online, and it was kind of it was a loser for Charlestown because they lost a great tenant and an anchor for Charlestown. And we thought, hey, here's a great situation for a win-win where the county can bring all of its employees or most of its employees to downtown Charlestown, fill up these two buildings that are vacant, bring in that foot traffic to downtown Charlestown, and then on top of that, convert our old buildings to the private sector so you have more businesses, more opportunity for a vibrant downtown. I just think it's a terrific moment. I understand some folks are negative about it, but I think they're just trying to score points.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I thought the same thing. My wife used to work there. And when she told me that all these buildings were just completely not used, I was like, well, someone needs to move into them. Did they also, I think there's a third building that they have. Did they leave that one too?
I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of activity there.
Okay.
That I can tell you.
Okay. So
We're not going to buy 3, though.
Okay.
Two's enough.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. Another thing I wanted to bring up, maybe as a non sequitur, but I noticed you're wearing a purple ribbon.
It's
Can you tell us a
Recovery
little about
Awareness
that?
Month.
Okay.
Yes, and we are in the middle of an amazing project. Something very remarkable happened in Jefferson County in March. We had our day report program run by a nonprofit.
Okay.
And they announced that they were shutting down, and we had no notice. And we had 10 days to basically come in and rescue the system, or roughly 65 people would be out of luck. And you know what happens when folks who depend on this program don't get it anymore, don't get treatment anymore. Really bad things happen. So we called around, and we called on our friends and neighbors in Berkeley County. And we said, we're in dire straits here. We got 10 days to start applying for grants, to set up a program. Can you help us? And Berkeley County, for those of you who don't know, Berkeley County's day report program is the best in the state. It's led by Tim Saya, who's been a hero. And he and Berkeley County Commission, led by Eddie Gokenauer, came to the rescue and said, look, we're going to help you guys out. Here's what we'll do. Let's execute an MOU. All of your patients, customers, clients, whatever the word is, can now come to Berkeley County for the next year and a half until the end of 26. We'll have a transition program so you guys can build up your program in Jefferson County. Tim Saya is coaching up our staff. We're going to develop our own day report program, and we'll have that in the new building that we just talked about. But this was a moment in March of this year where things could have gone really, really bad. There's about 65 folks on average on a month-to-month basis who depend on this program in Jefferson County. And for those who don't understand day report, we're talking about treatment and drug testing for folks who have substance abuse problems. It's a much better arrangement than sending folks to jail.
Absolutely.
You can't jail your way out of this problem. It just doesn't work. It breaks up families.
It's a disease.
It is a disease. I'm not an expert on the medical side of it, but I can tell you on the human side of it, you see parents who can't be with their kids anymore, who lose their jobs. They end up losing their homes in some cases. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. When you have a day report program, you keep families together. You allow people to work. They have to have accountability. They report into the system. And from a county budget perspective, that's obviously not the most important thing. The most important thing is the human factor. But there's also really important impact on county taxpayers. So if you look at 65 clients, which is our average, that costs about $1.3, $1.4 million in jail fees. In day report, it costs about $400,000 to run the program. So by running this program, you make their lives better. You keep parents in the home for kids, and you save taxpayers $1 million a year. So it's really a successful program. We're trying to emulate Berkeley County, and boy, are we incredibly grateful for Tim Saya and the Berkeley County Commission for stepping in to help out their neighbors in a time of need when we had this emergency situation that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I remember hearing when that happened.
The Day Reporting Center has had a major impact. You're exactly right, and there are heroes, and Tim is certainly a hero. But I want to harken back. In my mind, the first hero was Judge David Sanders. Judge Sanders recognized the need. There was only 2 or 3 day reporting centers in the state. One is at Weirton. David went over and picked the best of the best and brought the ideas back to the Eastern Panhandle. So we tend to forget the role that David Sanders played, but I think he was instrumental in getting started.
Yeah, and then it got on hyperdrive with Doug Copenhaver.
Oh, it certainly did.
And the election of Katie Wilkes Delegetti
exactly
as
right.
prosecuting attorney, because
exactly right.
she was amenable to day report as a consequence for actions.
That's right. And I want to give Jefferson County credit. It started actually in Berkeley County in the Eastern Panhandle, but for reasons that you've mentioned or alluded to, Berkeley County had problems. And so it shifted to Jefferson County, and they carried the banner. And for 3 or 4 or 5 years, it was thanks to Jefferson County that Day Reporting Center stayed in existence in the Eastern Panhandle. And then Doug Copenhaver, Katie Delegati came in and kind of shifted everything around, hence the program we have today.
So this is a good partnership that we've established with Berkeley County. Like, we're good neighbors.
We're paying our own way right now. They're coaching us up. We're developing a bridge program. We have a bridge program, and then we're developing our own program in Jefferson County. Eventually, I see Jefferson County paying for our program through our opioid settlement fund, and eventually balancing the books and having a self-sustaining program. We have about 1.7 million we have 1.4 million in the bank in the opioids fund, and it'll be up to about 1.7 soon. And we haven't spent that money. We've been good stewards on that money in case something came up, and something did come up, and now we need it. And this is exactly what it's for.
About a minute left, Bill.
A different subject altogether. You mentioned a second ago, you invoked partisan politics. In Berkeley County, the partisan politics basically starts at the state level. It does not exist at the municipality or the other local level. But that's evidently not the case in Jefferson County. Is that correct?
It's a different dynamic. There's a huge city in Berkeley County, Martinsburg. I love Martinsburg. I'm there twice a day. In Jefferson County, we have 5 municipalities. So you end up having elected officials of 5 different municipalities.
And they're all very distinct.
They're all very distinct. You just have a high volume of local elected officials, and many of them are Democrats, and that's fine. But every single one of them, if they see an opportunity to score some points against a Republican commission, they'll take advantage of that, and they can grab a microphone and say, this commission is doing a terrible job, even when the facts show otherwise.
Yeah.
Quick question, 30 seconds. Thomas and Ford building. Anything going on with that you're aware of?
I don't know what the long-term plan is yet.
Okay. Appreciate the concise answer. Next commission meeting, Pasha.
Our next commission meeting is next Thursday, so not tomorrow, but a week from Thursday, and hopefully we'll be talking about some financing options for the building and historic preservation.
What time will it begin?
That will be at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Pasha, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.